Mind and body, breath and belief. Healing starts deeper than what you can see. Victoria Kennedy, guiding the way, where spirit and science meet every day. Real talk, real tools, helping you align. Welcome to the space where the body meets mind.
Hi everyone, and welcome back. I am Victoria Kennedy, medium clairvoyant from Los Angeles, California. And on today's episode of Spiritually Influenced, we're going to talk about grounding and why it's so important to ground and how do you ground? We all know that we're living in a time where the world feels louder, it moves faster, it's much more overwhelming than ever before. There's constant noise from the news, social media, from the expectations of others, and even from our own minds. And in the middle of all this chaos, grounding has become not just helpful, but essential. Today we're diving deep into why grounding matters more than ever, what grounding actually is, and how can you bring more stability, clarity, and peace into your daily life. So take a breath with me. Let's breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And let's do this. Let's get into this here today. It's obvious that the world has changed, and when there's change, we also change as well. I'm sure that if we kind of think back about it, the world, as we now know, is much different than how it was when you were growing up or when I was growing up. Technology moves faster than literally our nervous system can keep up with. We're exposed to more information in a single day than people used to encounter in months. We're constantly reacting, comparing, we're absorbing, we're scrolling, and we are all overstimulated. And our bodies, our beautiful, designed bodies, they're trying to survive in an environment that we were never built for. We're plugged in, but we're also disconnected. We're informed, but we're overwhelmed. We're connected to everyone, but drifting away from ourselves. And I know we all see this. How many times do you, and I know that I've done this, where you just put the news on, and the first, 10, 15 minutes is just nothing but drama, nothing but BS, nothing but chaos. There was a shooting. Somebody physically assaulted an elderly person. A parent mentally and sexually abused one of their children. When does it stop? So it's kind of gotten to the point where I don't even watch the news anymore. That's how bad it has gotten. And not only that, but, I'm sure that you've all heard this on previous podcasts before, but the one thing you will always hear me say is that I refuse to live in fear. I will never live in fear. And my family's the same way. None of us live in fear, and we will never live in fear. But that's yet another conversation, so let's kind of get back to grounding. This is why grounding matters. Grounding matters because it's the antidote to overstimulation. It's the medicine for our everyday modern chaos. It's the way we return to ourselves when the world pulls us in a million and one directions. Grounding is so important. And I always say that grounding is a survival skill for the soul. Grounding is one of the most words that gets thrown around a lot. But what does it actually mean? Well, it's simple. Grounding is a practice of bringing your awareness back into the present moment, back into your body, your breath, your senses, your truth. It's the opposite of spiraling. It's the opposite of disassociation. It's the opposite of being swept away by fear, stress, or even external chaos. But grounding is being able to feel your feet on the earth, noticing your breath, calming your nervous system, reconnecting with your inner stability, and remembering who you are beneath all this noise, all this chatter that's going on. Sometimes people say, well, if I ground, then I feel like I'm ignoring the world, which is 100% completely not true. You're not ignoring the world, but it's purely about you not losing yourself in it. Grounding is nothing more than staying rooted with everything that Mother Earth has provided. Grounding is nothing more than staying rooted while the entire world continues to move. And you're just standing still for at least a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, however long you want to ground. One of the things I get a lot is, I get a lot of comments, but one of the things that truly always stands out to me is, well, you have to be spiritual or emotional in order to be on the path that you are on, meaning Victoria Kennedy, because you're a spiritually being, this is going to work for you. Because it's my belief, which is not true. Well, yes, I am a spiritual being, and it is my belief, but grounding literally works for every single one of us. Just the other day, my wife and I, we were talking about this generation, today's generation. Everyone seems to have anxiety. There seems to be no coping skills. This generation today cannot take on as much as the previous generations before them. My son is 16. He came to us one day and said, I'm suffering from social anxiety. I'm like, what? When did this happen? And how is this happening? Why is this happening? So, we have to take that into consideration, that today's world, all the chaos, all the drama, teenagers scrolling on social media, teenagers on YouTube watching these YouTube influencers make $1 million mansions and just throw them all away, buying brand new cars so they can just drive extremely fast like a jackass going down some, let's say PCH in Malibu and crashing their car. Not a biggie because we can just get another one. So having to compete this generation today with others, I can see why that causes anxiety, why that causes stress. This generation, if you have not noticed, they are starting to kind of get more into meditation. They want to ground. They're more into crystals, more into numerous aspects within spirituality. So I feel that it's this generation that's going to bring back all of those tools that we have been born and blessed with. All the beauty that God and our beautiful Mother Nature have provided for us. I feel that this generation is going to kind of reset, I guess we could say, and bring all of that back. So grounding is great for teenagers. It's great for younger kids. It's great for kids who are overstimulated, who are having such a difficult time calming themselves down. It's great for kids, even young adults and adults who have special needs. And the one thing about grounding is that it's so simple to do. There's not a ritual that takes place when you have to do it. All you have to do is go in your backyard, grab a chair, let your feet just kind of soak up all that grounding that Mother Earth has. No shoes, no socks on, and allow your feet to just touch the grass. If you like to paint, if you like to draw, if you like to read, if you like to meditate, you can do all of that while you are grounding. And then those ideas will just come forward much faster, much clearer, much more concise. And why? Because you are connecting back to Mother Earth. So what if you live in a place that's too hot, it's too cold, you don't have grass? Well, there's two things that you can do. You can either, go to a park that has grass and you can walk around that grass barefoot. I live in Southern California, so you would not catch me dead walking in any of our parks barefoot. You can stand in dirt. You can actually visualize a grounding meditation, I guess we can call it, which is so simple. You just need to close your eyes. Imagine you're at a park. There's nothing but green grass around you. There's a tree right next to you. You look at your feet. Your feet are completely barefoot, no shoes, no socks on. And then just imagine those roots from the tree coming up and just grabbing onto your feet and holding you on the ground. And once you begin to do this visualization, you will feel a tingling sensation on the bottom of your feet, on the top of your feet, in your ankles, in your calves, in your shins, in your knees. And it's so simple to do. Like I said, it's not a ritual that you have to do. You don't have to go and get the drums and hit the drums. You don't have to go and sing. You don't have to go and dance. It's simple. And it's great to do. Everyone can ground, young and old. It will not interfere with any type of medication. It will not interfere with your daily life. It will actually make you feel much better, much calmer. And just trust me, you will really, really enjoy it. If we think about it, if we kind of look at it from a scientific perspective, our nervous systems, they have two main modes. They have the fight or flight, which is activated by stress, fear, and overstimulation. We also have rest and digest, which is activated by calmness, safety, and also being grounded. Most people today are living in a constant state of fight or flight, not because they're in danger, but because their minds think they are. Our minds are constantly going and going and going. Our minds never stop. I always like to tell all of my clients, even when I do my lives on Instagram and Facebook and all other social media platforms, that literally we are hamsters in a hamster ball. That's why we are getting so sick, why we are experiencing anxiousness, we are experiencing panic attacks. We are literally 5 steps ahead of our own thought process. Every notification, every argument online, every piece of bad news, every comparison, every pressure triggers micro stress responses. But see, the good thing when you ground is that grounding is letting your nervous system know that you are safe, you are here in the present moment in time, and that you are okay. Every single one of us needs that to have that reset. So whether it's you're going outside and you're painting, you're grounding, you're journaling, you are just having some alone time doing whatever it is that you want to do. It could even be gardening. It could be, taking your recyclables. Whatever it is, that's your time, your moment where you can kind of just get away from all of the daily normal chaos. Because there's not a single day that goes on where there's no chaos, there's no drama. And this is a good thing about grounding, because when you ground yourself, you're going to begin to feel your heart rate kind of slow down, your breath will deepen, again, your thoughts become clearer, your emotions begin to stabilize, and your body just kind of goes into that relaxation mode. There is a commercial. I remember when my mom would watch TV. I remember this for some unknown reason. And I want to say it was like this lady taking a bubble bath, and all you would hear on this commercial was, "Calgon, take me away." I'm pretty sure you could probably Google that commercial and you can see it. And it was just this girl in a bubble bath. And again, she was doing her thing to kind of relax, to just unravel, to unwind, to disconnect, whatever you want to call it. I really feel that if our psychologists and our therapists, if they were to practice more grounding with their clients, I feel that they would probably have better results. And I'm sure there are some that do and some that don't. But, the thing is that when you are not grounded, you will feel it. And sometimes even when you're not grounded, you kind of say to yourself, I feel a little bit off today. And that's because you don't have the words for it. But when you're not grounded, you feel scattered, you feel anxious, you feel overwhelmed, you feel disconnected, you're more reactive, you're easily triggered, and you are emotionally drained. We kind of start to take things personally. We kind of literally start to lose our sense of our own self, of our own worth. Those of us who are not grounded often feel like we're floating, but not in a peaceful way, but in a more of a, I can't get a grip on anything. Nothing is going right. So one thing after another. And that's when you automatically become that victim. You put yourself in that victim mode. So grounding brings us back into our emotional center. It helps us respond instead of react. It helps us see clearly instead of through the lens of fear or stress. Pretty much overall gives you clarity, inner strength, and you also have that emotional stability. So next time you are feeling triggered, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling you're going to have a panic attack, or you feel like you're just going to completely lose it. Well, the first thing I always tell people is get off social media. Stop reading those freaking comments. Stop trying to compare yourself to someone else who is on social media, showing all these glamorous homes, all this great and amazing food, and how they go out and have all this great time. Because what I have learned is that those who kind of try to tell their story of they have this perfect life with no drama, no chaos, perfect husband, perfect wife, perfect children, it's not as great or amazing or as beautiful as it looks. So again, stop comparing yourself. I can continue going on and on about grounding, but I'm not going to do that. It's not the most fun topic that anybody wants to discuss, but it's an important topic. And as I mentioned before, if you feel like you're losing it, you don't have a grip on reality, all you have to do is go outside, take off your shoes and socks, walk on the grass or walk on the dirt, and give yourself that much time needed. It could be a minute, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 5 seconds, it could be 7 seconds, however it is that you actually want to do that. As we begin to close today's episode, this is what I want you to remember. Grounding is not a trend, it's not a buzzword, it's not something nice to do when you have time. But rather, it's so important, it's essential, it's healing, it's stabilizing, it's empowering. In a world that is constantly trying to pull us out of ourselves, just know that when you ground, it kind of brings you back to reality. You deserve to feel steady, you deserve to feel safe, you deserve to feel connected to your own inner peace. So today, give yourself permission to slow down, to breathe, to reconnect, to root yourself in the present moment. I definitely want to thank you all for spending this time with me here on Spiritual Influence. Thank you for choosing to ground yourself where you can feel alive, where you can just kind of bring yourself back to the everyday norm. And thank you for being a part of this space where peace, presence, and inner strength always comes first. If you would like to connect with me, you can visit me on vkennedy.com, and there you will find my social links. So until next week, stay well, stay grounded, and stay blessed.
Carry the wisdom, take it inside. Every small step is part of the climb. Honor the journey, trust what you find. The answers live where truth lies. Until next